Welcome, I'm David Nurse, NBA shooting coach turned life optimization coach, speaker, author, leader of all types. On this show, we bring on high performers, athletes, CEOs, entrepreneurs, people doing amazing things in this world, but they weren't always at that spot. And we talk about how they got through their stuck situation and made their pivot to achieve their success. So join me every week as we pivot and go.
I'm dreaming vivid, so I'm living my goals. Written to existence, you know I'm doing the most. I'm steady winning, having breakfast for dinner, cause I'm always giving a toast. I live that 1% of lifestyle, didn't you know? Doing what I can just to get in the zone. Incremental change will help you get in the flow. But if you hit the wall, gotta pivot and go. Switch your perspective and go for the goal. That ain't the end of the road, just pivot and go. Pivot and go.
Welcome back to the Pivot and Go podcast. I hope you are all having an amazing week and you are about to be inspired by one of the most driven, motivated people that I have ever had on this podcast or ever even heard about. His documentary, 7 Yards on Netflix, just came out. His name, Chris Norton. Now, Chris, he was a college football player in the great state of Iowa and broke his neck, his spinal cord, was told he would never be able to move anything, not walk. 3% chance of ever moving again. And he became on a mission, not allowing any negative thoughts to come in, flipping them for the positive, becoming so driven and having just all these interactions with people and just situations in his life that showed him, you know what, no matter what is thrown your way, God is going to use it for something good. And he is not just a survivor, but he is an absolute thriver, where he goes around and he talks to companies, he talks to kids, he talks to people all over the world of how they can overcome any type of adversity. Because this guy, he couldn't even move. And then there he is at his wedding with his dream girl walking 7 yards down the aisle. Get ready to get absolutely fired up. Grab the tissue. You might need it in this one. It's a little bit of a tearjerker too. Buckle up. Chris Norton, here we go.
Pivot and go.
Chris Norton, welcome to the Pivot and Go podcast. This is going to be an amazing episode because I am a huge fan of yours, Chris, and just watched your documentary the other night with my wife. And I would have to say my wife is a bigger fan of you and your wife, the documentary 7 Yards. But my brother from Iowa, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And this is an honor. I'm glad I was able to inspire you and your wife.
No, totally, man. It's an honor for me and to have another fellow Iowan, another very smart fellow Iowan, because you don't live there anymore. The smart ones get out. They have the great roots in Iowa, but then you move out. Yes. So now where you at? Down in Florida, right? On the second best coast.
Yeah, exactly. I'm down in Florida. It's warm. It's flat. It's really accessible for me to get around. So I love it. Iowa always will be in my heart, but I'm going to live in Florida.
Yeah, trading cornfields for palm trees. Can't blame you, brother. Hey, Chris, tell us something that maybe not everybody knows about you. Start us off with a bang. Not necessarily the amazing inspirational story we will get to, but something a little bit different, off the wall.
Off the wall. Okay. I would say people don't know I'm a movie buff. Like I love movies. Like I just love a good movie. I don't know just what it is. The Batman series.
Nice.
Just love those. But I'm also like getting into chess. Like that's a random thing like over the pandemic that kind of bored and just kind of took up chess. I've been loving playing chess. So those are kind of a couple of random things I can think off the top of my head.
Well, that just shows how smart you are. What was that? Wasn't there a Netflix series about the person who was playing chess that really blew up?
Oh yeah, the Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit. There you are.
Yep.
You're the second season of that. Hey, so on the Pivot and Go podcast, we always ask the people that come on, when was their biggest life pivot? Because you didn't always get to where you are just by being there, but you had to go through struggles. You had to go through a pivot in your life that just led to basically the mission, the journey that you're on today. So talk to us about your biggest life pivot, Chris.
The earliest memory I have for like my biggest pivot definitely came when I was probably like 10 years old. We had this weekend tournament And, I had the worst weekend of basketball of my life. Like, I love basketball, and I played horribly. Like, it was bad, and I was so frustrated and disappointed. I can remember on the ride home, I'm getting these glares in the rear view mirror from my dad. And what makes matters worse is my dad was my coach. So, as a coach's son, like, you got high expectations. I'm mad. I get home, I kick the shoes off, and I go straight to the couch, and I'm just trying to find something to watch and distract myself from everything I was so disappointed with. And I'll never forget, my dad comes to me, he sits on the couch, and was like, Chris, if you don't like where you're at, then do something about it. And I don't know what it was, but those words just clicked. And it's like, why am I feeling sorry for myself? Like, all I'm doing is sitting on the couch doing nothing. Like, I am not doing a thing to try to get myself better. Like, if you want to get better, you have to go out and make it happen. And so it's just like this aha moment of like, yeah, like, I have no reason to complain because I'm being lazy right now. I'm not trying to change the circumstance or respond in a way that's going to make my life better. And essentially, my dad taught me early on to be radically responsible for my life, and that the more responsibility you accept, the better you'll respond to adversity. And the quickest way to become more adept at being accountable for your life is to really practice cutting out blame, the need to complain, and all excuses, because these behaviors, they kind of keep you emotionally stuck, and they prevent you from doing all that like you can do. And so that you're practicing radical responsibility is when you realize that the only thing you have control over in life is how you respond. So as you can see, like, huge life-changing pivot for me to just really take accountability for my life and my actions.
That's amazing. And I noticed through the documentary, your dad would always give you positive, motivating quotes. He'd always turn things to the positive, and I'm sure that had a big impact on you. And going through where you say a radically responsible, I love that term, and cutting out the blame, because you went through a situation where 99.99999% of the population would have put the blame on woe is me, but instead you turned that just surviving into ultimate thriving. So let's go into that. Let's rewind the tape and talk about when you're playing college at Luther in Iowa versus my team, Central College, where I grew up. Walk us through that day, what you remember from that day, and what transpired from there.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember being fired up and excited to play football. And, I've always wanted to strap on the pads and the helmet for another 4 years of college ball. And I've been able to work my way up the depth chart. I'm playing more than any freshman. And so I just want to continue, that momentum and earn my way to more playing time. And so Central College, very good at football. They got the lead on us, and in the halftime, coach is mad and lights a fire under us. And so, we come out the third quarter, we score a touchdown right away. We got the fans into it, and so I run out to the field for the kickoff, and the kicker, he huddles us up and he calls the play, mortar kick right, which simply is a short, high-arching kick to the right side of the field. And I don't know why we didn't just call it kick right, because our kicker was so bad. Every kick was short and high-arching. But anyway, I'm pumped because I play on the right side of the field. Again, like an opportunity to make a name for myself. So the ball's kicked, and I sprint downfield as hard as I can go. And I can see this opening forming. And my instincts tell me, that ball carrier, he's going to run through that gap. But I'm going to stop him. I'm going to drive my shoulder so hard through his legs, he's going to drop the ball. And so I go for it. I collide with him at full speed, full force. But I mistime my tackle just by a split second. Instead of getting my head in front of the ball carrier, my head collides right with his legs. In an instant, I just lose all feeling of movement from my neck down.
Man.
I can hear the collision of players above me, the whistle blows, the pile clears, but I can't get up. And I'm trying so hard to push off the ground, but nothing is working. And I'm telling myself, like, Chris, like, get up, like, come on, like, what is going on? But it just felt like someone just flipped the power off to my body. And so I can tell the game stopped for me. The defense is huddled out. They're ready to take the field. And I'm just embarrassed. I'm just like, I got to get up. Like, Chris, like, stand up. But little did I know, I just suffered a severe spinal cord injury. And, it would take me many years before I'll ever find that strength to stand.
Wow, man, Chris, I can't even imagine that. So, and then what was a percentage chance did you actually have to be able to move again? Because right in the flash of a millisecond, everything, all your hopes, goals, dreams, everything you poured into your life, I mean, it was taken away. Your control over anything was non-existent. And the percentage of being able to move anything again, what was it?
3% chance
3%.
to ever move or feel. Not a 3% chance to walk. 3% chance to move, feel.
To move anything in your body.
Yeah.
Wow.
To scratch an itch on my face. To feed myself.
Man, so when was the moment that, I mean, you had to feel bad for yourself, right? Was there moments where you're just like, okay, it's all over? Like, what was going through your mind in those first few nights in the hospital?
Absolutely. At nighttime was the absolute worst.
Yeah.
Like, the room got quiet. It's dark. And my fears just came flooding out.
Yeah.
I had so many questions like, will I ever go back to school? Will a girl ever want to be with me? Will I ever have a family and be a dad? Will I ever be happy? And these questions would just repeat themselves in my head. I'd cry myself to sleep almost every night. And I couldn't even wipe the tears away from my eyes. It felt like I was trapped in my own body, like a prisoner in my own body. And every single time I tried to move and I couldn't, would just send me into this full-blown panic attack. Like, it was awful.
Chris, whoa, okay. So talk to us about the fourth night, the nurse from Wyoming. Tell us about, you had a funny quote in the documentary about nobody from Wyoming tells lies. Tell us about this nurse.
Yeah, so again, it's about 2 a.m. Just really early in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm restless. And someone comes in and checks my vitals every 2 hours. And it's all very clinical, routine. They come check it, they leave. Well, this woman comes in to check my vitals, but she does something different. She comes over to my bedside. She gets down on one knee. She says, "Chris, look me in the eyes." And she was kind of mean about it. Not gonna lie. It was very confrontational, it felt like. And then she's a short, slender woman, short reddish hair, glasses. And she's got this voice that sounded like she came straight out of a Western movie. And she says, "My name is Georgia. I'm from Wyoming. Do you know anyone from Wyoming?" And I say no, and I'm just thinking, where is this going? And she says, "Well, people from Wyoming don't tell lies. And I want you to know, you will beat this. You will beat this." I break down crying on the spot. I needed to hear those words so badly because up to this point, I was questioning whether all the time and effort I was putting in my recovery, like, would it ever pay off? Like, am I wasting my time? Like, why keep going? And in this moment, it feels like my faith is restored and that it is worth it. And the thing about Georgia that I think is really impactful and for everyone to understand the difference is that she didn't just say, "You can beat this." She said, "You will beat this." And I believe her. And just that changing, that word changing, it can go a long way. And that just really impacted me in a way that just gave me so much hope. And I just kept pushing and pouring myself into my physical therapy, my occupational therapy.
Pivot and go.
All right, so as you know, I am a nut for optimization. That's having your body and your mind at the highest level possible. So, I mean, I make a lot of protein smoothies, and I make them taste really, really good. But I have to know it has the highest quality ingredients. I don't want any of all this other junk that everybody throws in that you see at GNC. And I have found that brand, Nusre. They're plant-based ingredients, the purest and most potent source of nutrition to give you a powerful, well-balanced mix of essential vitamins and minerals. I'm telling you, the creamy vanilla, the matcha flavor, I'll mix it into smoothies, into yogurt. Sometimes I'll just open up the package and drink it straight. It's that good. And it's that good for you. Nusre. So Nusre is giving listeners to this podcast, this Pivot and Go podcast, a special deal, lucky for you. If you look at the link below and in the show notes, you will see it's Pivot 15. Pivot 15 will give you 15% off any purchase at Nusre. Nusre.com, Pivot 15. Get your protein powder upgraded.
Pivot and go.
And it's almost like faith was an angel sent. Sorry, not faith was an angel. Georgia was an angel sent to restore your faith. That's amazing. I know faith plays a huge role in your life. Was there a moment that, you couldn't have got through this without it. Talk to us about that relationship with Jesus and your faith that really drove you through these extremely difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely. Right away when I was injured and didn't understand what was happening before me, and that was the first thing I went to, was just praying to God, God, please help me. Just give me my strength. Let me get back with my teammates. God, if you don't want me to play sports again, I'll never play a sport again. Just let me walk. But please, do not change my life. I felt like I was just living the dream. I loved life, and just entering college is kind of my prime of my life, but being at 18 years old, and I was just I wanted that so badly. I didn't want anything to be changed, and I'm trying to understand okay, everything I've learned about God in the Bible is that with God you can make all these bad circumstances, these challenges, He can turn them into good if you follow Him and you trust in Him. And I'm just God, you got your hands full. How could any good could ever come from this mess? And so there was moments of just questioning that, of just, I know I'm supposed to have my faith right now and trust in you, but I was filled with fear. And so every day I had to make this choice. Am I going to choose faith, or am I going to choose fear? Wow. And I made the hard choice. I chose faith. I believed in what the Bible says, and that He can make all good things, turn good things into bad things into good. And I went for it, and I just kept going, and it was through that strength that kept me hopeful.
Totally, man. And through that, you've been able to impact so many lives of people that have been struggling from things similar to you, but just any kind of downturn in their life by choosing faith over fear. That's powerful, especially when there's doctors, these doctors who know everything, giving you these, you have phantom feeling. So I know there's a part where you knew okay, I'm going to be able to move my toe again. And the doctor comes in and just tries to crush your dreams. Talk to us about just eliminating negative talk from any situation, and how powerful that can be.
Oh, absolutely. You're always going to have these insecurities, these doubts. You're going to have people who are going to try to discourage you. But you also have, your own voice. You have people in your corner, faith. They're also going to try to lift you up. And so you have to make a choice of what voice are you going to listen to?
Yeah.
And that's a hard choice, especially when you're fearful and you're uncertain about the future. And so I had to just make an intentional choice that I'm going to listen to the Georges. I'm going to listen to my family. And that wasn't easy, because I did have doctors who were extremely discouraging. And like you mentioned, this one doctor came in my room and just flat out said, "Chris, you'll never move anything in your legs ever again." Just nonchalantly, it's no big deal. And this is something, I've been working day and night to achieve, and just in a flash just crushed my dreams. And I knew there was something special happening in my left big toe, and he just dismissed it. And thankfully, though, I was with my dad, who really spoke life into me. I listened to the words, those 4 words that Georgia said to me, you will beat this. And I used that for, motivation to keep going. And I used the Dr. Phantom's words as fuel to the fire that I'm going to prove him wrong.
Love it.
And so I just kept going. And that's something that we all really have to choose. Like, are we going to choose to listen to the Georges of the world, or are we going to listen to the Dr. Phantoms of the world?
Totally, man. And using these negative things that are brought on us for fire, for fuel, using these positives for momentum, it's a formula that it is God's working everything out for our good. And on that Thanksgiving morning, what happened to that left toe?
That left toe, I was able to wiggle.
Yes.
And I was so pumped. I was wiggling that toe all day long. And it was something my family was all there to celebrate. I was telling every nurse and therapist, whoever came in my room to congratulate me, I'm like, well, you go find that doctor, who I now refer to as Dr. Phantom. You bring him in here. I'm going to tell him to phantom this as I wiggle my toe in his face. Fortunately for him, he was gone that day. I might have been a little too fired up and said something I would regret, but it was such a special moment, really a day I will never forget. And it really helps remind me of just appreciating the little things, like to feel the joy that I felt over a toe wiggle. To this day, reminds me to be thankful for all the small things that we do have, and it's so easy to take for granted.
Man, that's amazing. I see the joy and just excitement coming out of your voice, and as we see each other through this Zoom, it's amazing to see that, man. It's infectious. Okay, so one of your questions was when this happened, like, okay, am I going to be able to go back to college? Am I going to be able to meet a girl, have a family? And then an absolute angel walks into your life. Tell us about your wife, who is like, Chris, you're amazing, but I'm going to have to just tell you, your wife's way cooler than you. So tell us about that meeting 100%. With your wife, and I'm giving you the platform to really score some points with her here.
Yeah, I mean, my wife is way out of my league.
Me too,
let's just
man.
be real, let's be honest.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, they don't understand how blessed we feel. But I met Emily originally online, and I communicated about my situation. She wanted to meet up, and I was so nervous to meet up with her because I'm like, does she really understand like who she's meeting with and the challenges that I face? And I see her coming across the street. We have a little public meeting spot that we're meeting up, and my jaw just dropped. I had to pick it back up, and I'm telling myself, Chris, act like you've been here before, play it cool. But I was just freaking out, like, oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. And then you get to know her, and she's got this heart of gold, and just has this passion to help others. And she's such a deep thinker, and she feels so deeply, where she goes right past surface level stuff. And she got right to me and just wanted to know, everything I've been through and my mindset, and how do I keep motivated and positive. And so I saw her cut down deep into me like right away, and then I see her do it all the time with kids. And that's really where her passion is to help kids who don't feel loved and don't have a family, who are in a safe environment. Like, she really just wants to do everything in her power to help them, which has led us to become foster and adoptive parents.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to know what true unconditional love is all about, you've got to watch this documentary, because it's powerful, man. Your guys' love together, but then your guys' love for fostering kids and adopting kids, the family you guys have built. It's beautiful, man. So, okay, so you meet her, that hot dog stand in Ames. I know I've probably been to that hot dog stand at Ames before. And okay, then you're gonna get married. So now the new goal becomes what? What is this? Where does the 7 yards come from?
So the 7 yards comes from our goal to walk down the aisle side by side. And so one of the viral moments that we had was her walking me across my college graduation stage, and that went viral, like 300 million views. And so after that, we were like, wow, like, people are really inspired. Like, people are moved by this walk. And what if we did a walk for a wedding? And so 7 yards was 3 yards further than the graduation walk. It also represented 7 years that I've been working and training to walk again. And so it's just so much significance in that 7. And so it was something that we committed to, and we worked relentlessly again. And also, honestly, leading up to the walk, I couldn't even walk one step when we first practiced her walking with me at my hip. Because when we're at the side, it's so much harder for me. I lose a lot of the support that I'm used to with her being in front of me. And so it was challenging. And in fact, what made it really scary too was People magazine committed to covering the entire wedding. And then an award-winning film company, a documentary, produce a life story, produce a documentary on my life story to show this walk. And they already named the movie 7 yards. Like, there's no wiggle room in that title. And so I couldn't walk 5. I had to walk 7.
That's great, man. But that is speaking it into existence. If you put that goal out there, the whole world knows about it. It basically holds you accountable for now, okay, I can't just say it and then let it go away. I've got to actually do that. So there is true power in speaking something into existence. So I'm sure everybody around you is like, Chris, okay, you're going to do it. How's it coming? How's it going? Like, so without saying that, you might not have that same type of support, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I did that too with my first walk for the graduation. And when you speak it into existence, it's amazing, like, what doors actually are open because you're putting it out there and people want to help. They want to see you succeed. And so I think, like, Emily, like, she's one of the toughest trainers I've ever had. So just meeting her and having her, like, just push me and encourage me for the graduation walk, like, that wouldn't have been possible without her. And then, continuing to put it out there that I'm going to walk these 7 yards just gave me something like, I can't let them down. Like, it gave me so much accountability. And
Totally.
I'm just somebody, like, when I say something, like, I mean it. Like, I'm going to do what I say. And so saying that goal was like, let's get to work 4 to 6 hours sometimes a day to make it happen. Man,
you were one of the most driven people I have ever seen. Watching that, and I've been around a ton of NBA players, but seeing you in that documentary, it blew my mind. Tell the audience how many hours, you talked about the 7 years, how many hours did you calculate that you spent training to walk those 7 yards?
I know I've calculated it. I don't know the number. I forgot. I'm going to be honest. I think it's in the documentary.
Yeah, I think it's 4,800. Is it 4,800? Was that around the number of hours? Maybe more. Probably more.
That sounds right. I should know that. Thank you for reminding me. But no, I just remember calculating up, and it was a ton. Yeah. You know, I was really fortunate, though, too, was that because I was hurt in an NCAA sporting event, their catastrophic insurance policy through Mutual of Omaha, like the special at-risk policy, where they covered, my medical expenses. They covered my rehab. And so I got to spend, countless hours on my rehab, which was such a blessing for me. But when you're going through this, you're meeting other people with spinal cord injuries. Not everyone gets that. They don't have an insurance or an at-risk policy that's covering their rehab. And so a lot of people have to quit before they're ready. When they want to get better, they have that same drive and motivation as me to be healthy and to get more movement back, but they just can't do it because they can't afford it, or they can't get to the location where the rehab is, or they don't have the equipment available. And so seeing all this really inspired me and my family to start the Chris Norton Foundation. So we actually started a nonprofit to give back more resources for these facilities so they can offer better rehab option. And so we did that, but then we also have started a wheelchair camp, the Chris Norton Wheelchair Camp. Nice. And it is incredible. It's for kids and their families. And it's completely free. Because of our donors, we're able to completely cover all the expenses for the kids. And our first year was in 2019. We had to cancel in 2020. But I knew we had something special because on the last night, we had a couple of kids just start crying. It's like, what's wrong? What's going on? They were crying because they don't want to leave. But they had such an impactful experience that they don't want to go home. They made so many friends, and we formed this community there, and it honestly it made me start crying. Just even thinking about
It's
it
beautiful.
tears me up. But it was just something that I love and a passion of mine. I can't wait for this year's camp.
Chris, that's beautiful, man. I would love to come down to that camp. If there's any way I can come help you out in any way,
Yes.
let me know, man. And me and my wife tithe every month, so we are definitely going to give to the Chris Norton Foundation. That's so cool, man. So cool that
Thank you.
you're doing that. And that was going to be my next question, too. What is next? What juices you up? The most driven person walking the planet around. What just juices you up every day when you get out of bed?
I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, obviously my family. I love my family. Like, they keep you on your toes, and it just helps you to know like your example matters. Like not just as a dad or a husband, but just as a person. Like they're watching you. They're taking these unconscious notes of how you handle different situations. Like how are you going to respond to these adversity and these stressful moments. And so I take great pride in just knowing that, my example matters to them, and then also matters to every single person you meet. So that's like a big thing for me. And just, as a believer, spreading that love and kindness to everybody. Awesome. But, a goal for the film, I've been wanting to make it in the top 10 of Netflix. It's been trending. It's been popular, which is a huge accomplishment for us because the film company is a little nonprofit out of Texas. We don't have this marketing budget. We don't have, it's not a Netflix original. It doesn't have any of the bells and whistles, but it's making a huge splash on Netflix, which is really encouraging to see and just how impactful it's been. But then also my career and my passion is motivational keynote speaking.
Yeah, love it.
I just hope I can just continue to share my messages, share my experiences, inspire others. It fires me up. I love doing it.
Yeah, man, I can tell too. And you've got a great story, but you have great, genuine, authentic passion about you. And man, that Netflix, it's going to get up there. I know that a lot of people are talking about it, and it's going to be one of those things that only God can open that door. Like you can bang down on that door as much as you want to get in the top 10, but there's going to come one moment where you just don't know how it happens, but it's going to happen. Yeah. Definitely, man.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pivot and go.
Oh, you know that feeling you get when you just wake up and you are not rested or recharged? Yeah, we all have it. We all go through it. How do I wake up with full energy every single day? It is literally the game changer itself, Chili Sleep. I have an Ooler that goes underneath my mattress and cools my body temperature to the ideal temperature to get deep sleep, REM, high HRV scores. Now, I have mine pretty cold, about 57 degrees. The optimal level is between 57 and 65 degrees. I have a weighted blanket, which just cools my body, and I'm just sleeping in restorative sleep. So when I wake up in the morning, no matter how many hours I get, I am juiced up and ready to go. And lucky for you, you can wake up the same way. The people at Chili Sleep are giving you a discount, giving you a code. So go to chilitechnology.com/pages/David Nurse to get your special discount pricing there. Remember, that is chilitechnology.com/pages/David Nurse, or just click the link below and it'll take you right there. It's sleep like a polar bear tonight. You get the best night's sleep of your life. Chili Sleep.
Pivot and go.
Chris, man, I could talk to you literally all day, and this is awesome. But I'm going to throw you on the rapid fire hot seat as we wind down here, so this can be quick answers, whatever comes to your mind. First one I got for you, do you have a mindset quote or mantra or something you have on your fridge, your bathroom mirror that really has just stood out to you throughout the years?
Okay.
I know you probably got a lot.
Say, yeah, and there's a bunch of them that are shuffling through. But one that stuck with me is do what you have to now so you can do what you want to later.
Ooh, that's really good. Really good. Okay, next one I have for you. What does leaving a legacy mean to you? Not necessarily what everybody says, the world says, billboards say. What is leaving a legacy to Chris Norton?
To me, it just means that you left this emotional, impactful difference in somebody else.
Yeah.
Like their life has changed and they live differently as a result of your work or your words or just you being in existence. And so to know that, I can positively impact someone's decisions or actions, their mindset is such a blessing to me. And I feel like what a great legacy to know that you've positively impacted someone else's life and made it better for forever.
Brother, you are absolutely leaving a legacy. There is no doubt about that. You juice me up, man. Okay, here's a fun one for you. If you could invite 3 people, dead or alive, to a dinner party, who are you inviting for conversational purposes, and what are you guys eating? What's the go-to meal?
All right, let's go with Jesus. Like, wow, like what a cool, amazing opportunity to speak with him. I would say my grandpa, maybe grandpas, because I've never been able to meet my grandpas because they passed before I was born. So I'd love to meet them. And then I'm going to go with somebody alive right now. I've been such a huge LeBron James fan. I would love to meet LeBron James. I think that'd be so cool.
It's a good group. Jesus and LeBron and your grandparents hooping it up.
That's right.
What are we cooking here? What are we eating at this meal?
Oh, we're going to be cooking some burgers, just the classic hamburgers. I love a good hamburger.
Perfect. Iowa summer right there. No corn on the cob? We're not throwing that in there? Just
we'll throw corn on the cob. We'll get some baked beans in there.
There you go. Now you're Iowan.
Some rolls.
I see you, man. Hey, Chris, how can we all follow you, support you, just basically get out everything that you're doing and help share your message?
I mean, you can follow me at Chris A. Norton 16. Instagram, Facebook is where I'm most active. You can go to the website, chrisnorton.org. That's where you can learn about my motivational speaking, the foundation, the wheelchair camps that we have. I think those are the 2 spots. I have an inspirational newsletter if you want to sign up for that. But that's how you can find me and help support me. It's by just reaching out to me there.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we will link to all of that in the show notes for sure. And the last question I have for you before we let you off this hot seat, if you could give one piece of advice, a drop the mic piece of advice to somebody who's going through an extreme stuck situation, just cannot see any way out, how do they make that pivot and go?
Yeah, I think it's understanding that your future will take care of itself when you take care of today. And so every single day, if you can just do a little bit more than what you think and what's expected of you, that's when you can make the difference and start making those steps forward. And it's okay to move forward without knowing where you're going.
That's great.
It's just important you just take one step after another and just keep that progress and momentum going, because it compounds.
Man, 1% daily steps, the most powerful effect, the compounding effect. And that's beautiful. Great way to drop the mic. Chris, you are an absolute godsend to so many, an inspiration to so many, man. I can't wait to meet up in person. I feel your energy flowing through here, man. So I know we'd have a lot of energy bouncing off the walls together. But man, keep doing what you're doing, and this is just the beginning of so many great opportunities and so many lives you're going to touch for His kingdom. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff, Chris. Appreciate
you, man.
I really appreciate
it. Take care.
Pivot and go.